We continue to follow breaking news where authorities are on the scene of a plane crash on Galveston Island. Here's the very latest. At least 3 people are confirmed dead. That is according to the Coast Guard. We have been reporting this since about 3:15 this afternoon when word came in about this crash. Matt Doherty joins us live on the island tonight to explain more details, where the plane was coming from, who was on that flight. Matt?
Lynn, again, like you said, the headline on this tonight is that 3 people are dead. 8 people, the Coast Guard is telling us, were actually on board that plane when it did crash in the water here off of Galveston Island. I'm going to step out of the way and let Martine kind of give you a tour of what's happening over here. So this is this massive search and rescue effort that's happening right now. This operation, if you go this way just a little bit, you can see down the line just how many search and rescue crews from all different agencies are out here right now. I want to show you some video from earlier. About 20 minutes ago, we were told the FAA and NTSB investigators have arrived here. Galveston County Sheriff Jimmy Fullen says the aircraft was carrying medical burn patients from Mexico and was supposed to land at Scholes International Airport on Galveston Island. He says as of about 4:30 this afternoon, the plane was still above the water. Now, part of the video that we're not going to show you is what appears to be a child wrapped in medical gauze and plastic. The video also shows 2 adults who were transported earlier tonight. We still don't know if those are among the ones who officials are telling us have died in this crash so far, and we still don't know if all the bodies or all the people have been recovered. The Coast Guard has not told us that. What we do know right now is that 3 people are dead, and they're telling us that 8 people were on board that plane that was a medical burn plane that was coming in from Mexico here to Galveston Island. Of course, it is way too early to say what exactly might have caused this crash. However, like we showed you in our last hit earlier tonight at 6 o'clock, it is extremely foggy out here on the island today, all throughout the day. It's dissipated a little bit in the last 30 minutes or so, I would say, but it is still very, very foggy. Visibility is very low, Lynn.
All right, Matt, I'm wondering, so you said total of 8 people on board. We know 3 have died, but we don't have any word on the condition of the other 5 people so far.
No, we don't. And we just got that confirmation from the Coast Guard about 30 minutes ago or so. I don't know if you saw this, but one of the DPS officers, who's the spokesperson for the Department of Public Safety, he's out here. They were the lead agency until the FAA arrived. They're supposed to be giving us some type of update at some point tonight, but we still are waiting that.
It seems when you look at the weather conditions, Matt, when the plane was coming down, the visibility was almost zero. That is almost certainly going to be one of the reasons and the cause for this crash. Even though we don't have official confirmation and explanation, the eye test tells us that had to be part of the issue for this plane.
Yeah, you'd have to think that. And when we were coming down, I'd say, probably around 4 o'clock this evening, as you know, we're driving down I-45 South, a trip that all of us have made at some point. You know, it didn't really start to get foggy until you hit, I'd say about Lamarck or so, and then straight from there all the way over the bridge, it was just dense, thick fog today.
All right, Matt Doherty live down on Galveston Island with the very latest on that plane crash that happened about 3:15 this afternoon just off the causeway. David Paul joins us. David, explain the density of the fog when it started and what you think the factor could be with all of this.
Well, I think you guys are probably correct in saying that fog most likely had something to do with this. Anytime we have a smaller aircraft in association with the foggy conditions, that can lead to trouble in a hurry. Now, just to set your bearings on the visibility, inland, Buffalo Bayou downtown looking from the south side, and then Galleria area, clouds are thickening up above ground level. You can see that the cloud level is now just above or scraping the top of the taller buildings in downtown Houston. But compare that to Galveston. So this camera is looking over East Beach right here, and then that where it's brighter, that is Seawall Boulevard illuminating the surface fog, which is right at the surface above ground level. It clears up, but right at ground level, that fog has come in. That is sea fog. There's a closer look. Murdoch's is in here somewhere. Gulf of Mexico's out here. And what you have is this warm, humid atmosphere that you can feel as you walk outside. Well, that warm, humid atmosphere is riding over the much cooler sea surface temperatures. It's dropping the temperature of the air mass to the dew point, and that's squeezing everything out as fog right near the surface. That is sea fog you're looking at. It is sea fog season. Winter is sea fog season here in Houston, Galveston, and right now visibilities are a quarter mile, half mile or less up and down the Texas coast, and for all the inland bays like Galveston Bay. It will develop fog, and the fog will move inland overnight tonight. We wake up at 7:30 in the morning, very foggy across the area, and that will continue on the coast as well. And then inland fog burns off quickly mid-late morning, but notice again, like it was this afternoon, the fog is going to stay put over the waters of Galveston Bay and the nearshore waters of the Gulf of Mexico. So it's another day where anybody with interests that have to do with fog will need to be very careful and pay close attention to the forecast around the Bay and the Gulf of Mexico. Len Cannon, back to you.
All right, David Paul, thank you very much. Again, the breaking news update is this. A flight carrying medical patients from Mexico crashed just off the causeway in Galveston at about 3:15 this afternoon. We are told that 8 people were on board. We have confirmed so far that 3 people have died. We know 1 child was pulled from the water. We're waiting to get the condition of the other 5 people. Continue to follow us online and, of course, on air on KHOU 11 News. We'll see you tonight at 10.